Hey Tribe Leaders, this is Savo. All Nations is coming up very soon and I can't wait to see you there. In the previous video, we talked about your role as being the glue that holds everything together and helps facilitate what Jesus is doing in conversation with the students that are going to be at the conference. So you play a very significant role. But we wanted you to be prepared to be the tribe leader at All Nations. But our perspective is not just so you can be a tribe leader at All Nations, but we want to help prepare you as a leader at All Nations, but also beyond that when you go back to your campus, and even farther beyond that when you go back home. And so today we have a really good friend of mine who is one of our national staff. His name is Paul Austin. Paul Austin is our pioneering director. And today he's going to talk about different leadership styles that will help you understand your leadership styles and what's needed in different situations. And so when you invite Paul, pay attention to him because it's really important and very helpful for you.
Paul. Thank you, sir. I look forward to it. Yes.
Thanks.
Hey, greetings. It's great to be with you today. I'm excited to meet you all at All Nations. Hey, today I want to talk about what is known as situational leadership. And I want to start by asking the question, in life, we can apply pressure and be under pressure, but we're only at peace when it's the right amount of pressure at the right time. For example, if I'm trying to open a jar, I can do too little of pressure and I won't open it. I'll feel weak. If I do too much, I crush it and I've just made a mess. Well, when I'm being led in life, I really like it when a leader applies the right amount of pressure. If he comes on too strong and too dominating, I kind of put my hands up and walk away. Or if he just steps back and things are going out of control and he doesn't intervene, I'm frustrated. Like, where is somebody to help? So how do you know as a leader how much pressure to apply? This is the theory of situational leadership. And basically, we're going to talk about a couple different things. First of all, knowing how to read the moment and what the situation is. And so you'll have a flyer that you were able to download and you can look at that. And I've got it here on the whiteboard, so we're just kind of walk through it. So the first situation, there's 4 situations in life, but I'm ahead of myself. I apologize. I want to first talk about what are the 4 styles of leadership that are common all around the globe. So what would you say are some of the common styles of leadership that you guys are aware of in world leaders and even in the world we're around? I'm looking for feedback. So
command and control.
All right, command and control. Okay, keep throwing out other things that would be terms we would use for that style of leadership.
Authoritative.
All right, authoritative.
Strong.
Strong. Authoritative. Very good. What else? A negative one I like to use is dictator. Nobody really likes to be a dictator, but there are moments that we probably should. When things are absolutely out of control, it's all right to be a strong leader that steps in. But there's sometimes something in us that doesn't want to be that person because we personally don't prefer that style of leadership. So the next from command and control, the second style of leadership that you commonly see is like a visionary. What other terms would you associate with like a visionary leader?
Inspirational.
Inspirational, love it.
Dreamer.
And I apologize for my spelling. That's why I scribble. Dreamer. Hey, what other words would you say would be this style of leadership? Coaching, encouraging. The reason I'm not just picking one term is I wanted to wrestle with the style, the nuance of it, not the term. Because sometimes we get locked in, well, I don't want to be that kind of person. And it's really knowing the style of pressure. This is heavy pressure. This is more of a pulling along. The next is third, and this is going to correlate here in a minute. It'll be really clear, is really that empowerment. What other words do come to mind when you think of an empowering leader?
Supportive.
Supportive, yes.
Facilitator.
Facilitate, yes. Any other words come to mind?
Advocate.
Sure, advocate. Almost like a cheerleader cheering you along. You got this. You can go for it. And then the fourth is really the hands off. Wait and see. The term laissez-faire. I'd write it down, but I don't know how to spell it, so I just won't even write it down. But they're really 4 styles of leaders. And based on who God has hardwired us to be, we have a natural place that we naturally default to. Now, in the Chi Alpha world, we really default to the empowerment. We're an organization that really loves to believe in people and release them. And you being a tribe leader, that's exactly what we want to do, is we want to empower you and release you to be a leader. But when we start an event, we start a conference, we're at the beginning of a trip, we're doing something, we're really not at a place where we sit back and go, man, I hope you have a great time. It's not very loving if they don't know where to go, where to register, where the meetings are. So really what we want to do at the beginning of a conference is to be a lot more command and control in style, not like you're heavy-handed, but what you really are is you're evaluating where they're at. They've never been to the motel before. They don't know where the meetings are, where the restaurants are. So this is a time in our leadership that we're really clear. So welcome. So it's kind of chaotic. In chaotic moments, it is actually loving to be very strong and clear. If you're in a building and there's a fire, do you sit back and wait? Let's see. I'm going to be hands off in a fire. No way. I'm going to jump in there. Hey, everybody, there's a fire. Let's move. We don't inspire them in a fire. We don't go, hey, I hope everybody who loves life run out of the building. No, we apply this kind of pressure because it's not known. Now, again, we're not controlling people in this moment. We're just being very clear in our communication when we're with people. And the word delegating and directing is we're just telling them what to do. It's a one-way conversation in this situation, what we call S1. Now, S2, people have been in the meetings now for a day and a half, maybe a day, 24 hours later. They know where the bathroom is. They know where the meeting rooms are. And guess what? They're getting a little dissatisfied. They become familiar. And in English, we have a phrase that we say, familiarity, which I see I spelled wrong. I apologize. What does familiarity breed? Contempt. The expression is familiarity breeds contempt. Why do you think that is?
The human brain loves novelty. So it says, I already saw that, I already heard that.
Okay, so the newness is wore off.
Get annoyed by stuff.
You get annoyed by stuff. The music's too loud. I couldn't understand them. Whatever the case may be, you're going to find those that you are leading are going to have different degrees of a little dissatisfaction. So as a leader, we don't tell them, you show up on time, you enjoy it. They're going to like, who are you? Back off. Instead, we go, man, isn't this amazing what God has brought us together for? What is it that God's been speaking to you? And as they share maybe something they're a little uncomfortable with, you go, man, I appreciate that. I understand why that could be a distraction. And then we refocus them on why we're there, to connect with Jesus, to be equipped and empowered, to bring transformation wherever he would lead us. And in those moments, we become a visionary leader. Now, it's kind of a progression. And now we're moving over to this place, and you can kind of see a breakdown. This side of the box, this is where I'm doing most of the talking. I'm reminding them of why we're there, and I'm telling them what needs to be done. This side, we begin to start pulling out of people what they think, what they feel, how it could be better. So when we move to S3, we're really in a place of empowerment, and things are kind of stable. You know, the first day there wasn't enough plates for breakfast, and by this point we figured out everything's in place, figured out the roommate situation, and now where there's stability is when we start asking them, hey, what could you do to make things better? What would have made this more enjoyable for you? Because really what we're doing is looking for feedback and then we're turning it around and go like, not just making a list for a year from now, but we're going to then ask them, what would make it better? And then say, are you willing to do that? We're inviting them to help your tribe even be better. For example, in your tribe, somebody might offer like, man, it'd be great if we just prayed for one another. Well, exactly. I love that idea. Would you be willing to lead that the next time we get together in our huddle? And then they have ownership of it instead of you just demanding, we're going to pray. Oh, isn't this great? Now we're moving to the place of giving others a voice in what's actually happening in your tribe meetings. Then you get to the point, and it probably won't happen in a conference. And so we really won't really get to that place where it's wait and see, but you get to that place with people where you really say, you know what? I'm not going to put a lot of pressure here. I'm just going to see what they do naturally. And maybe towards the end, that last night, you really want to let and see how much initiative students would take in praying for each other, responding to the message, coming to you for prayer instead of you jumping in there right away. Step back a little bit and let them respond because now they trust you. Now they know what's going on and they're a lot more comfortable. So you kind of see the progression here. It goes from chaos or newness, it says a bit familiar, and then a little dissatisfied. And I don't know about you, but this one, when I realized the journey of growth and development is when people become dissatisfied, I always thought it wouldn't be that way. I thought once you jumped all in, you're going to love it and it's only going to get better and better. Actually, there's a natural response of like, it's not everything I thought it was going to be. The food's not as good as it was. The worship's not this. The teaching was that. Whatever, all of us find something that doesn't just meet us perfectly. Well, what's going to be awesome at All Nations this year is you're going to be that voice of encouragement as people are wrestling through the dynamics of this event. You're going to be that voice to encourage them to keep the main thing, which is Jesus. It's not towels. I didn't have enough towels. The main thing is Jesus. Now, we're going to go through this thought one more time, and I'm going to bring into another part of the image here, and this is the development of the people I'm leading. So when people are new to something, we say their development or their skill is D1. So if it's their first time ever being at All Nations, they're even more overwhelmed than because they've never been here before. So they're really excited. Their motivation is high, but their skill is low. And again, the word skill doesn't naturally apply to this situation, but I want you to think of this through in all of your leadership context. So their understanding, their ability to navigate is low, but man, they're excited to be there. They've traveled all day and they're excited. And that directly relates to S1, where when they get off the bus, when they meet them in the lobby, we're just in control and let them know, man, this is going to be a great time. Do this, this, and this, and everything is going to work out great. Then they move into this place where their motivation dips, and it's because they become familiar. They have some skill, some involvement. Like if you were leading a small group, and about midterms is when people want to start quitting your small group. Why is that? Well, we don't study enough. We don't pray enough. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And that's many times when people stop being a part of what we do. And this is where we stop saying, well, you need to be there and start saying, why did you want to be a part in the first place? And so as people develop a little bit of frustration and disappointment, we ask the question, why? Why are you here? What is it what God wants to do? This is why we spent all this energy putting this together. Then they're going to move to the place where, and they're all in. They are having a blast. They're comfortable, and their motivation is stable, and their skill is stable. And it's just a sweet place, even though there may be moments throughout the day, throughout the week, that they have a little bit of an attitude. It just takes a little push, a little pressure, and they get right back on track. Then you're looking for those who are going to be tribe leaders next year. And what you're looking for is those over the course of the time together, they are saying, man, I'm all in. I want to be a part of this next year, and I want to be a leader in this the next time around. And so your whole group will kind of go through this, but you're going to notice that different people in your group, in your tribe, are going to go through at different speeds. Some of the people in your tribe are going to stay here the whole time. And you may have to just give clarity the whole time because they just haven't caught the flow of what's going on. Other people, man, within hours, they're already frustrated and disappointed. It's not everybody. And then some of them are going to be here really quick and a couple are going to lag. And man, I pray that 2 or 3 in your tribe jump through the process, but get to this place before the end. And they are saying, man, how can I help? How can I make this better? So this is the art of leadership. Leadership is not just always do this, always do that. It's really evaluating what is the circumstances? What is the situation we're in? Are we chaotic? Are we familiar? We've been around a while. Are we stable? Or are we at that place where, man, it is strong. It's working. Everything's working. And you just release. As a leader, strong, a little less, and then pretty much hands off. But I also think through the individuals, just not the group. And then the individuals, for half the group, I'm just hands off, but the other half, I'm engaging because I don't lead everybody the same way at the same time. Now, not a hard concept. You guys here in the room, you're like, yeah, I get this. I want to challenge you. It's a challenge to kind of flesh it out. In the research that Ken Blanchard, who developed this leadership theory, has put together, he's discovered 54% of leaders, really, no matter what the situation, they apply one style of leadership, no matter what's going on. They really don't change. About 36% of leaders will be good at 2, but they'll struggle with other ones. I don't like where these numbers are going because you see over here, 9% of leaders are able to do 3 and only 1% get it right where they read the person and the situation and the dynamics right all the time. I've used this lens in my personal leadership for almost 20 years. I'm progressing, I'm getting better. But I think in the time at All Nations as a tribe leader, this will give you a perspective on how to lead your friends that you're going to make through the weekend in a powerful way. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to meeting you at All Nations.